Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Deep Cast Reactions, and my name's Greg. And I was looking around last night, and I end up looking a lot and run onto all sorts of things. And so I ran onto this album. It's called "Standing on the Outside: The Songs of Cold Chisel," and it's covers of all their songs by other people. And I think it was like 2007. It was a little bit hard to find information on it, because there was just so much other types of information. It's kind of like if if your friend's named Isaac Newton and you try to Google their name, you're not going to find them. So, it's a little bit like that. But anyway, so I did find a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to play one of their songs, or one of the songs. But I wanted to play this first. It's just like an interview or promo thing for the album, and so it's not music, and this is mostly just for me. I mean, you guys probably know all about this stuff, and I don't, I've been watching their videos and, listening to their music for a while now, but, it's not the same as growing up with it. So, anyway, let's listen to this little thing. I like I say, this is just for me, so I wanted to hear it.
Some bands live a different life to their audience. Some bands are, living a life of luxury for the rest of us or something. Chisel weren't like that. They were interchangeable with their audience. In a sense, they could have been, any member of that audience could have been in Cold Chisel, and Cold Chisel could have been any member of that audience.
12,000 people and they still get Mick Williams called.
Cold Chisel, Cold Chisel.
Cold Chisel are a fantastic band.
Cold Chisel forever!
I left my heart for the sappers round Khe-Sanh, and my soul was sold with my cigarettes to the black market man. I've had the Vietnam cold turkey from the ocean to the Silver City. It's only other vets could understand.
I don't reckon you can be in a rock and roll band, Australian rock and roll band, and not appreciate Cold Chisel. All of them are great players. There's way too many good songs for any one band to have.
Initially, people might have pigeonholed Chisel as being just a one-dimensional yobbo rock and roll band. But I suppose the journalists were amongst the first people to go, hang on, there's a fair bit more happening here.
They were very volatile and quite ragged, but I also think very clever.
I love seeing that old footage of Cold Chisel because they're just a wild band, and there's a dangerous element to them, and that's how rock and roll should always be.
There's an honesty and a lack of pretension with their music.
It's like the soundtrack to your life, or a soundtrack to a certain part of your life.
They're a meat pie kind of band, but a bloody good gourmet one.
Sometimes.
Cold Chisel became almost like spiritual leaders of their generation.
I don't know many people that would even know the words to Advance Australia Fair compared to Khe-Sanh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes gourmet, sometimes just straight out mystery mix.
I think what made the difference with Chisel was the songs were so powerful.
There's not one bad suckhole single there.
It was just a real blokey, in-your-face sound that just elevated again from the records, and not a lot of people can pull that off.
It's freaking rare you can have that,
I guess we were all just trying to figure out what they were for a long time. And then by the time we'd almost figured it out, it was all over.
That's the beautiful thing about a band, is that you see a story, go back to the beginning, start from there, and follow them through.
The idea of a Cold Chisel tribute album makes all the sense in the world because they were bloody good songs to begin with.
When something like this comes along and you're in the middle of rehearsing for a tour or writing, it's really good. Because sometimes you listen to other people's playing and you go, wow, I never would have thought of that.
I feel really excited about just starting the track today and knowing that it's going to be on a record with such a lot of other great artists and also a lot of great songs that have been picked.
The
The
Rising
Sun just stole my girl away.
That's correct.
Cold Chisel.
Bloody ripper.
What album was it on?
East, I think.
We're in Dallas Green and we're recording another Chisel track. Oh, hang on.
Never, that one before. Never recorded Chisel.
Alright, don't bite my head off.
I can't remember. I was only in nappies at the time.
I still am.
You can never quite relax until you feel that the original writers have heard it, you know, and they've kind of given their seal of approval.
Okay, we turn on in the most peculiar place. Is that the melody? I don't even know the friggin' melody.
You can't kind of do them the way they do it and expect to come out smelling the roses, you know.
Tribute albums are kind of weird like that, you know. How do you improve on something that's so great?
Maybe if we don't sort of do it properly for them, then
We'll do our best.
they'll feel like they'll have to come and show us really how it's done.
I've been working hard, 12 hours a day.
I think every artist that's on this record should be, first of all, should be honoured to be on it, and second of all, they've got to give it their best.
We're going to go at it like a ice-smoking bull at a gate in a china shop. In a gated china shop? In a gay china shop.
Our spin on it is to just throw as much youthful, young, red-blooded energy into it. Hopefully make it jump out of the speakers and give you a good old slapping.
There's a really easy way of describing this record. It's the best Australian acts of today paying tribute to the greatest Australian rock and roll band of all time. It's that simple.
Catch a plane and steal it back again. Rising sun just stole my girl away.
Well, that was pretty interesting for me, you know. I mean, just to get kind of the viewpoint of a lot of people that grew up with them, you know, and I thought that was interesting that, you know, talking about they were interchangeable with their audience, you know. They were never, you know how some rock and roll stars get, you know. I mean, they were still right there, and I don't know, that to me that's kind of what I was saying with I'm glad that they didn't make it here in the U.S., you know, that they stayed in Australia and, you know, grew within that boundary. And, you know, yeah, I mean, from what I understand, they weren't playing, you know, huge crowds until they had already broken up, you know. I mean, big crowds, but not huge arenas and stuff. And, you know, we're always closer to their fans, smaller shows and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I mean, I think it's part of what makes them who they are, at least from my limited perspective here, you know. But anyway, that was fun. I you know, if there's people that watch this, that's cool. If there's not, that's fine too. I just wanted to do it for myself. So anyway, I'll be back.